In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create a Google form or use a weekly check-in in our virtual learning experiences. So you should have already had your Google Classroom created, and we are going to go through a Google check-in form for the week. So this is going to help me have a better organized understanding of how my students are doing at home and on their learning. So the particular week that we just did, I went over 3 different topics throughout the week. So my form is going to include 3 topics. So here is the title. Again, you're going to change it to whatever's how you want it to be. Let me walk you through mine first, just so it'll make a little bit more sense. This is the week March 16th through 20th check-in. My students say their first name and last name, and I particularly do them separate because no matter what form you have students put their name, whether it's last, first, and then last with commas or whatever, they end up submitting it and it looks like a hot mess. So I keep them separate. Again, you can completely take this off if you want to, because if you put it on Google Classroom, it's going to automatically connect the form to that particular Gmail account of theirs. But just in case technology fails, they're going to submit a form for me with their first and last name. Also their class period, because you can organize a spreadsheet as well, but that's advanced for this video. So the first topic that we went over this week was perfect squares. So I have 4 questions for them to answer. And once they do so, they're going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are they on their understanding of perfect squares or answering the questions above. So they're going to rate their confidence. I need to add on there, like 1's not confident, 10 is confident. If you choose 6 or below, what are you stuck on? So I want to know what students are struggling with if they chose 6 or below. And then would they like to set up a time to video conference with me on the skill? Yes, no, or maybe. So then from there, I can organize my particular video conferences and the topics. So if a student had said yes for this skill, I would invite them to a time frame that I'm going to do a video conference on perfect squares. And if they said no to a different one on the form, I wouldn't invite them to that conference time. That's my thinking and my vision for it. So the next section I went over was inverse of squares. They have 4 questions. You could also delete the question. So if you didn't want to use 4, you can click on it and then just hit delete. Or you could also click on it and hit add if you wanted to ask more than 1 question. Again, they're going to have to rate their scale of confidence on that particular skill. And then I did one more skill, approximating squares, where they're going to rate their confidence as well. And again, based on these quiz responses on setting up a video conference or how confident they are, I'm going to set up time slots and topics from my video conferences. And I'm trying to use Zoom, but we'll see. Maybe Google Hangouts will be the route I end up going. Let me also walk you through how you can make this a quiz, because as you can see, it's worth total points. So I'm going to go to the blank template and walk you through how you can make this grade itself, basically. So if you go into settings, you're going to want to choose quizzes. I go ahead and limit it to 1 response. You can take that off and they can submit more than 1 response. And then I don't remember if you make it a quiz. I think it automatically just has it limited to 1 response. But you guys can practice and check that out on your own. I'm going to slide this over and say make a quiz. And I want it to grade it immediately after each submission. Now, you can also set it where later. So you're going to go through the quiz and grade it or check for anything. And then there will be a release button that you'll press at the end if you choose this option. My preferred method, though, is immediately after each submission. I always take off the correct answers. When they get their report back, it'll have a check mark if they got it correct when you choose missed questions. So it'll show the ones that they got right, and then there'll be an X by the one that they got wrong. I don't want it to show them their correct answers on necessarily any Google form that I give, unless it's a review assignment, because they like to share out their answers with other people. Once they submit their form, they'll share it with their classmates, either through Gmail, taking pictures in their group chats that they have going on. And then I don't mind if they know how many point values they got, or this part necessarily isn't that important, so I just leave it there. And you're going to want to click Save. From here, you can enter in your answer key. So as you click on, I'll go to mine now. So on this one, this was a short answer. So, and when I went to answer key, I'm going to type in the number 8. I wanted this question to be worth 1 point. Something else you can do is do anything that your students are going to enter, any response that you think your students are going to enter. So for example, they could say 8.0 instead. And I always hit mark all other answers correct, and you can always go in and see their response. So if they put 8.0 and I didn't have that as an answer, I can see why they're missing the questions, and I can put the grade in the grade book as well. So this isn't necessarily like set in stone. There was another one that I did with inverse of squares, like x. So on the EOG, their answers, they're not going to put an x in their good response. But for Google Forms, and since I'm not there to tell students that, I also have x equals 5 without spaces, x equals 5 with spaces as all correct answers that they can submit. So that's how you are going to choose the point values. And then also a tidbit of information. This one is required, but as I click on it, you can see that there's not an answer key and there's no points because there's no right or wrong answer in saying how confident you are or if you want a video conference or not. So you can choose the questions that you want it to grade and the questions that you don't want it to grade. I'm also going to walk you through how to put the Google form directly into your Google Classroom. And I'm going to do it with my classes since I have students. So on my classwork tab, as you can see, I was already starting to do this. Let's just delete it and start all the way over. Okay, so no, I want this completely gone. Oh, look, it did it. Okay, so I'm going to hit create. My Google form was already created and I'm not creating it from scratch. So I'm going to click assignment. If you are creating a Google form like right then and now, like right here, you didn't have anything already created, you would click quiz assignment. I'm going to click on assignment and I'm going to title this March 16 through 20 check-in. You can add instructions if you would like to, and here's where you're going to add the assignment you just created. So in my Google Drive, I'm going to add mine. I'm going to go ahead and select it for block 2 as well because these are both classes that are going to be learning this content this week. So you can enter more than one class at a time. You can also go into students. If you do one class at a time, you can go in and select what students you want it to give it to. But I'm going to go ahead and do 2 of them and not choose that option. You can say how many points. So this one is worth 12, but technically it was just a check-in. So I don't want it to be worth anything or make it ungraded. The due date is going to be Friday for me at 3 o'clock. I mean, you can choose whatever time you want it to be, or no time at all, actually. Whatever works for you. And the topic that I have it in is March 16th and 20th. Okay, here's where you can choose grade importing. So it's automatically going to grade it for you, and it'll pop up on the assignment tab on the teacher view. From here, you can say whether you want to assign it now. When you do more than one class, you cannot hit schedule, but as you see, if I take off block 2, I can schedule the assignment now. But again, I always like to do more than one class at a time to save me time and not doubling the work for me. Okay, you can also put it on locked mode for Chromebooks. Now, students hate this because when you turn this on, any other tab that they have, like music, gets shut off. They can only look at that particular Google form. I do this with quizzes that I don't want them to be searching anything else for. And I guess it could work since they're at home and you don't want them Googling things. So this might be a good tool to use because when you turn on lock mode, they can only see the Google form and they can't go off of it. Well, if they do, you get an email that they had exited and how many times they went off the Google form. So that could be a good thing. But for a check-in, I'm just going to take this off. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit assign March 16th to 20th check-in. Okay. And as you can see, it's going to be posting. It posted at the top, and as you can see, my stuff is organized by like the entire week. And then the days are underneath it. So I'm going to click this and drag it underneath Wednesday. Quickly, while I'm on this, I know it doesn't have to do anything with Google Forms, but you can see that these icons are different. So these are all the assignments. So students are going to get a notification that assignment was posted. these are materials. So these are not graded and it's not going to have a due date for them. So these are just materials or video links that they can see. But these are all assignments that is going to pop up on their calendar with due dates and times for them to complete them. So I think that is about it for this form. And again, you guys have the template that I shared with you where you can click delete. You can add your own questions in here. Topic 1 covered during the week title, like highlight it, enter whatever you want to, delete whatever questions you want to. If you don't want 4, you only want 3, click on it, delete it. You can make them not required if you want to, but as long as you want to make a copy of this particular Google form, you can edit it however you want to. But I hope this helps you guys as we are all in this together trying to figure out how in the world we're going to do virtual online learning for however long this lasts. But if you need me, just email me and I will be here to help you.